What's up, guys? I know it's been a while, but I'm back, and today we're not making music. I'm making sound absorption panels because this room sucks. So I gotta make it better. Come with me.
Jimmy, make music.
Hey guys, I've been having some serious issues with acoustics. All in all, I've been having some serious issues in this room. It's odd shaped. It's really short, and the reverberation in here is awful. So I really got to take care of that low end, and I'm sure that you do too. I made these panels for about 20 bucks a piece. Now online you can get them from anywhere between $75 and $125 I've seen them for, which is a little bit out of my budget for a home studio. So what I did is what you're doing right now and search some DIY ways to make them, and I came up with this little tweak that helped me cut some costs down even more. I found that the biggest cost that I needed to cut was the fabric, not the wood, not the insulation bats, but the fabric. For the amount of panels that I needed, I was having issues keeping that cost down. And for the amount of fabric that I needed, I would have spent almost $200 in just fabric. That being said, let me show you some more of the supplies you'll need to make these. The first and most important thing you'll need is to purchase some rock wool safe and sound insulation bats. Now these come in 16 inches and 24. I use the 16-inch wide bats because I found it easier for mounting purposes, actually hitting studs with the mounts. But you can get them in 24. If you can get them, they're hard to find, but if you can get them, make them as big as you want. Both widths.
To what?
Both types of bats, the 16 and the 24, will come in 47-inch long bats. So keep that in mind when you're making your dimensions. Now the type of wood you're going to need is solely your preference. I use 2x4s because I had some laying around, but I did have to buy more. If you can find 1x4x8s, that might be a little easier to work with. Another thing that you'll need are some hooks to mount these things on the wall. You also might want to pick up some wire just in case you have to adjust them on the wall for hitting studs and not hitting studs, and placing them where you need. Now the thing that cut down my cost so much was getting the fabric, because anything I found was at least $5 a yard, and for the amount of panels that I need, it wasn't going to work out cost wise. I might as well have just bought some. So the idea that I came up with was actually wrapping the frame of the sound absorption panel in a body pillowcase and just sliding the thing basically right in. So I didn't have to pay for yards and yards of fabric. I bought $10 body pillowcases, 2 in a pack, and just slide the frame right in there, and you're good to go. Let me show you how I did it. The first thing you want to do is pre-cut all your pieces that you're going to need. You'll need 2 pieces per 1 panel. Like I said earlier, I use 2x4s, which, keep in mind, if you're using 2x4s, they are not 2 inches by 4 inches. They're that when they're actually cut. When you're getting them, they're going to be 1.5 by 3.5, roughly. After you have your wood cut, you're actually just going to lay the bat out, your insulation bat, and wrap that bad boy in the body pillowcase. Just shimmy it right on down until it's completely in there, and you're good to go. Side note, it looks like I have 47 kids and a green lawn, and I go drinking with my coolers while I'm playing golf. Let it be known it's the complete opposite of that. I actually have just 2 kids that are spoiled by their grandparents. My lawn is yellow. I haven't had a drink in 2 years, and I suck at golf.
Whack!
Now that that's out of the way, here's a quick tip. You want to shake the bat down into the pillowcase. Make sure that's even on one side, because you're going to take your one piece of longwood, you're going to take your longest piece of wood and just slide it inside of the body pillow, and you want to make sure there's some room there. My awesome camera angle I have here, you can't see me actually putting the piece of wood inside the opening of the pillowcase. You actually just take the piece of wood and, you know what I'm saying, you just shove it up in there. Shove it in. Awesome camera angle, but you'll get the gist. I'm actually just pushing the piece of wood inside of the pillowcase. The purpose is to wedge that insulation bat in between 2 pieces of wood. Now keep it straight as you can, because you don't want this thing wobbling around, and once you put the end pieces on, you want it to be as square as possible. Now you're going to take your other long piece of wood, whichever size you decide to cut. Mine were 47 inches. No, I'm sorry, 45 inches I cut. The full length was 47. So I'm going to take this 45-inch piece of 2x4 and slide it up the other side. Now this thing gets wedged in tight, so you're gonna have to work it, straightening the fabric as you go. Also, just a side note, if you're gonna do this with body pillows or any kind of fabric that you're wrapping, try to get it without a pattern on it, because trying to straighten the pattern to make it look good on there between these pieces of wood is a pain in the ass. I have ones that I'll show you later that have straight, like, crisscross lines on them, like a checkerboard, and getting it straight, it wasn't a good look. It added considerable amounts of time to the project. So try to get a flat color if you can. Now, when you're sliding these things up into the body pillow, keep in mind that you can rip this fabric. That's why you got to get something tough. I was lucky enough to find these body pillows, and they're like a cotton polyester blend, so they're pretty tough and breathable. So the insulation can do its work while I can actually still manhandle the fabric. Now, once you have both pieces of wood, just these two long pieces in there, straighten the fabric out as best you can. Try to get the wood square and smooth out any insulation that may have ruffled underneath that body pillow. Now you're just going to zip up the body pillow. You could finish right here. You could have finished just with throwing the insulation bat in there and pinning it to a wall. It's going to start to absorb sound. But just for aesthetic wise in a studio and make it look kind of nice, you might want to add some wood frame to it. Next, you're going to want to dry fit the end pieces to this. Now, in my case, these were 17-inch 2x4s, and just kind of dry fit it, move it around, make it kind of as nice as you can before you start screwing these things in. Now, in some designs, you could probably put these inside of the body pillow. I chose to put them on the outside because I wasn't sure if I was going to stand them up, if I was going to mount them on the wall. Also, I just like the look of it because it just made it unique and different. The last thing you got to do is just screw these pieces of wood in. Make sure they're squared up, get them nice and tight, make sure that fabric is taut inside there, and screw that piece of wood on. It should square itself up even more and tighter. And that's basically it, man. Once you have that, you have your panel and it's done. I did add some finishing oil to the wood because it was going to be on the outside and you were going to see it. And that's cheap as anything. Maybe $9 a bottle, $10 a bottle. You're not going to use the whole bottle. I built 12 panels and I used about a quarter of the bottle. So don't buy two like I did. Here's a look at what the wood looks like with the finishing oil on it. This is just a, what the hell did I use? A mineral oil. So you can really just rub this oil on with a rag and you're good to go. But you can see the difference there, and that's why I wanted to finish it and kind of bring out the wood grain. To mount these things, I just used hook screws. I drilled pilot holes into the exposed pieces of wood and then screwed these hooks on there, which made it easy to hook to the wall once I found a stud. And I even have one on my ceiling to make it cloud. Now, if you're going to use 2x4s, I strongly suggest making sure you hit a stud with at least one full side of the absorption panel, because they do get heavy. If you get the 1x4x8s, it won't be as bad. You might be able to do it with sheetrock anchors, but I really needed to hit a stud. They wind up heavier than I thought. Not extremely heavy, but heavy enough that it would fall off the wall. I also have my cloud guy up there, and the sound is dramatically different in this room, so it's definitely a good investment. Okay, takeaways. What would I have done differently? I definitely would have used the 1x4x8s. It would have been a lot easier to maneuver the wood inside the body pillow case. Body pillow? Am I saying that right? Body case pillow? That's not it. Because it made it extremely tight in there. So keep that in mind. You can do it with the 2x4s like I did, but the 1x4s might be a little bit easier to manage. Make sure you cut your wood straight. If you don't cut the stuff straight, man, you're gonna have a bad time. It makes it very difficult to line things up and make it look and stand and mount correctly. You got to get it right. Another thing, if you are making one to put on your ceiling to make a cloud, have someone help you, because all I was doing was spinning around in this chair, standing up there, putting holes in my sheetrock. That's all. I'm sitting there spinning. Putting holes. It's all off. Now I got to patch all this stuff. get someone to help you, it'll make it 10 times easier. Another thing that's going to make it a lot easier for you is to get actual wood screws. Don't use your screws you have laying around the house. The extra drywall screws you have, don't use those. Get wood screws and everything gets snug and tight in place a lot easier. The screws that I used, I didn't even need to have pilot holes. It just jammed right in there, good to go. And the very last thing is make sure you have your placement right. Make sure you plan out where you're putting these panels, because already I want to move some. They're not exactly where I want them to be. Like the sound is right, but the look is bothering me, and it's fixable. I can keep the same sound while I'm moving the panels, but make sure it's right, because you'll see in some corners I'm not feeling the way that it looks. And in another video, I will go over where to put them. You can't just make these and throw them on the wall and get the best response out of them. You're going to actually have to find your reflection zones. In a future video, I can show you how to do that, where to place yourself, where to place your speakers, and make it all come together and make sense in your studio. All right, I hope this video helped you out and help you cut some cost getting the right sound in your home studio or even your pro studio. These techniques can work. So until next time.
Jimmy, make music.